As a massive eye slowly blinks open, a father and son realize the truth. The small town where their family has lived for generations is built on the back of a giant turtle. The sight stops them cold, because the people who've called this place home for centuries had nearly killed it without ever knowing. The hero's name is Searcher. He lives with his family in a beautiful little town, and like his father before him, he works the land, farming a plant called Pando. In this world, Pando is everything: cars, billboards, transportation, daily life. Nothing runs without the power it provides. But one day, the crops start dying fast. When Searcher learns that the roots run deep underground, and a mysterious cave appears nearby, he has no choice but to head in with a friend to figure out what's going wrong. They've barely made it inside when they discover Searcher's son, Ethan, has snuck along for the ride and brought the family dog with him. With no other option, Searcher lets the boy come. Then out of nowhere, a flock of vicious red birds attacks. The ship goes into freefall. It looks like the end, until they crash through into a wild, colorful world below. Searcher and the dog are thrown clear of the wreck. Lucky for them, the ground is covered in soft, squishy tentacles that cushion the fall. A school of tiny red fish drifts overhead, moving in formation. As Searcher sets off to find the others, he spots a small blue creature. It slaps him across the face, then bolts. Searcher and the dog give chase, but the little thing calls in backup, a giant spiky beast. It lunges at them, tentacles flying, ready to swallow them whole. Then a wild man drops in out of nowhere, pulls out a flamethrower, and drives the creatures off. When he takes off his hat, Searcher freezes. 25 years ago, his father vanished on an expedition. Searcher had always assumed he was dead, but standing right in front of him is Jaeger, his father. Jaeger thinks he must be dreaming, until Searcher pulls out the compass his father once gave him. That's when it hits Jaeger, this is real. The two set off to regroup with the others. Along the way, Jaeger burns through the brush blocking their path, not noticing the little dinosaur-like creature trailing behind them, dropping tiny yellow mushrooms in their wake. Wherever the flames had scorched, the mushrooms bring it back to life. Then Searcher steps on something strange and gets swallowed whole. Jaeger pulls him out, and they ride the creature bareback, racing to catch up with the rest of the group. Meanwhile, Ethan has slipped away on a flyer to search for his dad. He takes in wonder after wonder, until a cliff face stops him dead. A thin, paper-like creature takes flight beneath the ship, and Ethan loses his footing and plunges into the valley below. He's caught by a cluster of soft, bun-shaped plants on the hillside. That's when the blue creature, Splat, reappears. It holds out a handkerchief. Ethan recognizes it immediately, it's his dad's. He follows Splat, hoping it'll lead him to Searcher. Splat brings him to a tree crawling with spiky beasts, and signals for him to wait, then goes to wake them up for a meal. But the beasts are all in a food coma and won't budge. By the time Splat turns back around, Ethan has wandered off, toward the wreckage from the crash, where crates of Pando have spilled out. He starts collecting them, just in case. When Splat tugs at him, it accidentally touches the Pando and gets shocked. Its hand left charred and black. Ethan quickly bandages the wound. That small act of kindness changes everything. Splat realizes Ethan isn't a threat, and just like that, they're friends. But then the sleeping beasts all wake up at once, reaching out to grab Ethan. Splat steps in to hold them off, buying Ethan time to run. Just as the beasts close in, Searcher and Jaeger arrive in the nick of time. Jaeger blasts them back with the flamethrower, and all three leap off the cliff, landing right on the river of tiny red fish flowing below. The beasts give chase, relentless. Jaeger torches a section of the river to cut them off, but it just reforms and they come again. Then Searcher's crew swoops in with the ship, but there are just too many of them. They're surrounded. That's when Splat tips off Ethan, use the Pando. Ethan does it, and it works. The beasts freeze up completely. They seize the moment and escape. With the roots withering faster than ever, the group pushes deeper into this strange world. Along the way, they pass through breathtaking sights. Skies full of heart-shaped petals floating like 1,000 lanterns, and fish-shaped clouds drifting by in every color, almost as if they're alive, waving hello. Eventually they reach a sea of acid. Even the most seasoned pilot on board can't navigate through it. Then Splat steps up. Turns out, it's old friends with the green rubber worms that live here. A quick conversation later, the worms agree to do Splat a favor. Countless flying worms gather under the hull, kick their little legs in unison, and carry the ship safely across the acid sea. On the other side, they enter a world where life exists, both above and below, like a mirror of reality. They nearly collide with a mountain that's moving on its own. Before long, they find the source of the Pando roots, and the red birds and spiky beasts show up right behind them. But this time, they're not attacking the crew. They're attacking the roots. That's when it clicks. The Pando has been funneling all its energy here, fighting these creatures. The crew doesn't understand why, and decides to help the Pando side. They load up the Pando as ammunition and open fire on the red birds. Splat rushes in to stop them. Ethan doesn't fully understand why either, but he doesn't want to hurt these creatures. He and Searcher get into a massive argument, and Ethan jumps off the ship in frustration. Searcher hops on a flying bike and goes after him. Still arguing, the two of them reach the edge of the world, and find a boundless ocean stretching out beyond it. Then the ground starts to shake. The land itself opens its eye, and in that moment, father and son understand everything. They've been living on the back of a giant turtle. The balloon tree forests they travel through, the turtle's lung sacs, the little red fish flowing like rivers, its red blood cells. the spiky beasts and the ferocious red birds that kept attacking them, the turtle's immune cells and phagocytes, the acid sea they crossed its stomach. The turtle has been growing weaker because the pando crops have spread their roots deep into its body. The immune system has been fighting back, but the roots have completely wrapped around the turtle's heart, and nothing can get through. If the heart is consumed, their home will sink beneath the ocean. Father and son race back and tell the others, but no one believes them. The crew has lived off pando their whole lives. They can't accept the truth. They lock the two of them up. Meanwhile, Grandpa Jaeger rides off to sea for himself. Lucky for them, the dog is still on the outside, and with Splat's help, they break out. To save their home, they make their way to the turtle's heart. Searcher sends Ethan and Splat to lure the immune creatures over, while he tries to crack open the root mass, so the immune cells can get inside and destroy the infection. Ethan and Splat find a cluster of immune cells, trying to attack the pando from outside, but the damage is barely a dent. So Ethan shouts, "Come get me." The immune cells lock onto him as a foreign body, and drop everything to charge. Back at the heart, the roots are too hard to break through. Searcher snaps his shovel trying. Then Jaeger arrives, with better tools. He'd gotten halfway there before it hit him. The adventure could wait. His family couldn't. He turned back. Working together, father and son finally crack it open. Perfect timing. Ethan arrives with a wave of immune cells right behind him. They pour through the gap. After a long fight, the immune cells win. The roots strangling the heart begin to fall away. The three generations are about to celebrate, when they notice something is wrong. The heart has stopped beating. It's dull, gray, still. A heavy silence falls over them. Then, a miracle. The little mushrooms come rushing in, followed by the small dinosaur creatures. They are the turtle's repair cells. Under their care, the heart stirs and begins to beat again. The red blood cells flow back into action, carrying fresh life through the great creature's body. The turtle is alive. The strange world around them blooms back to life. Thanks to one family's courage, they saved the great turtle, and the home they've always known. They can't grow pando anymore, or use electric power as before, but none of that matters, as long as they're together. That's everything.